Hello, welcome to Studies in Theatre MOOC course. We have already seen some of America's historical aspects that have been responsible in giving a shape to the theatre cultures in a previous discussion. So that discussion was covering the centuries up to 18th. Today we will look at 19th century and onwards. So, one of the most notable developments during this period, that is 19th century, was that theatre had started taking a professional shape, and cities like New York, Philadelphia, Boston, they had become creative centers for performance cultures and related activities. People participating in these events were living here, and they were also catering to diverse audiences with plays that were ranging from comedies to tragedies. Then, as this country progressed further and it expanded in the western direction, the theatre also reached in the western direction. Companies started traveling, known as stock companies. They toured the entire length and breadth of the country, bringing live performances to towns and cities across the expanding frontier. This helped to spread theatrical culture to a broader audience and fostered a sense of national identity. So by the mid 19th century, there was an emergence of minstrel show, which was a popular form of entertainment, and it was, although deeply problematic for the modern standards, because it was related to the reliance on black face makeup and racial stereotypes, but it was a significant part of the theatre culture of that time. Then playwrights were beginning to write plays specifically for American theatres now, because prior to this only European playwrights were used, and their plays were used to perform plays in English language. And this was a shift that American literature or American performance culture had towards reliance from European atmosphere of literature. Then you can also say that theatre has now started emerging as a platform where the playwrights, performers and activists, they were addressing social issues, political issues, and there was a dependence on theatre as a tool for raising awareness and promoting social changes. And of course, a lot of technical changes were also visible all through this process. So in 19th century, melodrama was also emerging as a very important genre in 19th century American theatre practice. It was catering to the taste of a different audience that wanted to see it, and these plays were often very sensational plots and exaggerated emotions. There was a clear distinction in these plays with good and evil. The very virtuous heroes and heroines would be there. They were pitted against very villainous kind of antagonists, and the plots were filled with dramatic twists and turns, emphasizing the themes of justice, redemption, and the triumph of good over evil. And although there was a formulaic kind of plot lines in melodrama, they also addressed some kind of social and moral value systems of that time, because they were tackling the pressing social need to look at crime, poverty and the struggles of working class. So by presenting these things in a theatrical format, melodrama was providing audience with some kind of relief, entertainment, context, and also some professional ventures. In addition to this, if you also try to look at the various kinds of effects, dramatic effects that melodrama utilized, they included things like elaborate set designs, very innovative special effects, and live music, etc. So this was a new kind of style that theatre was taking itself towards, because of the changes happening likewise. So some playwrights who are known for the 19th century work are these: Augusta Jane Evans. She is known for her popular melodramatic plays and novels, and she was one of the most widely read playwrights of her time. Although she started writing in 1855, but her plays that became later on were important for other kinds of interventions and people to get inspired and write similarly about. Then Dion Bucci Colt, that is 1822 1890. Although he was born in Dublin, but he was an Irish American, and he has shifted from Ireland to America, and he was an important writer in 19th century. He was also famous for the variety of genres that he offered, and he wrote many plays, more than 150 plays he wrote, and they were comedy, satirical plays, melodrama, historical plays. Some of the works that are very famous are like Corsican Brothers, the Octoroon, and the Colleen Bawn. His plays were very intricately infused with plots which had vivid characters and skillful use of dramatic tension, and he was very much trained and very inclined towards incorporating sensational elements into his dramas. So crime, romance, social injustice, they all had a very interesting mix in his plays. His important contribution includes that he popularized and refined melodrama as a genre, which was already popular in 19th century, and he reworked some European melodramatic styles to serve it for the taste of American audience. And the local color of America, the local contemporary social themes of America, they were infused in his style of writing melodrama, which suited the people, and therefore he became quite popular. In addition to this, we have playwrights like Edward Harrigan in 1844 to 1911, and Tony Hart, David Belasco. So these playwrights were also popular for their comedic plays, musical sketches, and depicting the life in New York City during 19th century. Some of them had come from Ireland, so the Irish American theatre was taking a unique shape because of the humor and music and a blend of social commentary to create the accessible productions. They were also prominently working towards to create different versions of the genres that were already popular in Europe. And similarly, when you look at David Belasco, he was known for his meticulous attention to detail and his innovative style towards stagecraft. And he was very much known for very realistic sets and lighting techniques. He wanted to give immersive experience back then to his audience, and these elaborate and lavish productions that he produced were very popular in that time, and it had become one of his trademarks. Some of the famous plays by these writers are the Mulligan Guard series. This satirized the urban Irish American experience, and this produced many plays. There were many plays in this series, and this Mulligan Guard series became very popular. In fact, they continued writing about this because of the comedy that they provided, and it became very popular for the American audience to look at the entire setup of their community from perspective of being American, despite people who were coming from different corners of the European continent. Similarly, the notable works by David Belasco, which is Madame Butterfly. This work also is a very important work because he adapted it from a short story by John Luther Long, and it premiered in 1900. And Madame Butterfly was a sensational play. It was adapted later into an opera also, And this work showcased the ability of Belasco to blend spectacle with emotional depth, creating a very powerful theatrical experience. Then you have other themes like civil war and reconstruction. So how in the second half of 19th century, the civil war that was there, they led to the different kinds of influences on the creative space and the art world. Economic, social and political tensions over slavery, state rights and sectionalism, these fueled civil war because people from different kinds of countries were coming. There were clash of interests and the construction of American continent and was taking a shape. So it was bound to be bound to give birth to many conflicts of political nature, of cultural nature, social nature, and that led to civil war. So in the prelude to this war, what happened was that the legislative conflicts were there, Supreme Court decisions that led to it, and the election of Abraham Lincoln that heightened tensions between the North and South of Americas. Not the continents, but the northern part of American country and the southern part. This led to a secession and there was an attack on Fort Sumter. So hence after that in 1861 there was this war, full-fledged outbreak. There were major battles like Bull Run, Antietam and Gettysburg. So these are some of the things. I am putting it on slide here because you can correlate the information that has to follow after follow this discussion in the light of playwriting and theatre. So the plays that were written during this time period were these: The Hidden Hand by Robert Jones in 1859, and this play is a melodrama that explores themes of abolitionism, sectional tensions just before the outbreak of the Civil War. The play has a theme of a story of a family in Southern America, that is the South of American continent, grappling with their conflicting allegiances as the nation is on the brink of conflict. Through this portrayal of the internal struggles of the family and the broader social and political issues of time, we are able to go through a journey across the socio-cultural atmosphere of this country during just before the time of the Civil War. Then Our American Cousin by Tom Taylor, it's a comedy play, and although it is not explicitly about Civil War, but it gained historical significance because the play was performed at Ford's Theatre when President Abraham Lincoln was assassinated in 1865. The play itself does not directly connect to Civil War or its portrayal of American society and the character dynamics. So this can be interpreted as a pre-Civil War tensions and divisions that ultimately led to the outbreak of the conflict. So this is about this play, and then there are texts like the Octoroon by Dion Boucicault and Uncle Tom's Cabin, a very famous text. Octoroon was written just before the Civil War, and it is a very interesting play. It has the themes of race, slavery, sectionalism, and the play is set on a Louisiana plantation. It tells the story of a woman of mixed race, heritage, an octoroon, who is in danger of being sold into slavery. Through its portrayal of this very complex relationships between characters of different races and social classes, this play presents us with moral and social dilemmas that plague the institution of slavery and reflects, it talks about the tensions and conflicts that were prevalent in American society around the Civil War. Then Uncle Tom's Cabin by George L. Aiken, which is based on influential novel by Harriet Beecher Stowe. This was performed in 1852 and it became one of the most popular plays of the 19th century. This adaptation of novel vividly portrays the horrors of slavery and follows the story of Uncle Tom, a devout and dignified enslaved man, as he experiences the cruelties of injustice and slavery. So this play is instrumental in giving a push to the anti-slavery sentiment in the years leading up to Civil War. This serving as a powerful indictment of the institution of slavery and rallying support for the abolitionist case. So therefore this play has a very important role, and there were similar kind of works that were being written in this time. But by the time of 20th century, we could see that there was realism, and we have already seen in the different lectures you have seen with me that how realism was taking shape in Europe with the works of people like and Ibsen or Chekhov, and their works were influencing people in America also. So when we look at the influence of this, we see that playwrights like Eugene O'Neill, Tennessee Williams, Arthur Miller, Lorraine Hansberry, Sam Shepard, August Wilson, Wendy Wasserstein, these playwrights had started emerging on the horizon of American theatre practice, American theatre culture, and these playwrights made very important contributions. For example, if you take Eugene O'Neill's contribution in 1883, 1953, he's died in 1953. What you see is that he was very important playwright, and his works such as Long Day's Journey into Night and The Iceman Comet, they explored the themes of family addiction and existential despair with profound depth and complexity. Then Tennessee Williams is also an important name to reckon with in the world of America. Williams wrote iconic plays such as A Streetcar Named Desire. A Streetcar Named Desire is a very important play, and I hope you all have heard its name, and I think I recommend that at least this play should be your point of departure for studying American drama and to know about American theatre culture. Then Cat on a Hot Tin Roof and The Glass Menagerie. These are some of the plays. Then Arthur Miller's works are also very important. Arthur Miller is known for his very significant plays like Death of a Salesman, The Crucible, All My Sons, and he wrote plays which worked around the idea of American dream, moral responsibility, and conditions of human beings with a very sharp insight and very entertaining plays. But the social critique content of these plays was immensely noteworthy, and that changed the entire worldview of the world to look at America and its literature in a very different way. Then Hansberry made history as the first African American woman to have a play performed on Broadway, and that is a very important thing because when I was talking to you about Afro-American writing, Afro-American theatre, I had talked about to you this discussion, Raisin in the Sun, the play was discussed in detail. Then Sam Shepard's plays such as The True West and The Buried Child, these plays also depicted the complexities of family relationships in America and the West. And then of course August Wilson, a very very famous playwright. He is known for his play Pittsburgh Cycle and a series of 10 plays that chronicles a life of African American people, and this included plays like Fences, Piano Lesson and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Then Wendy Wasserstein's works such as the Haiti Chronicles, the Sisters Rosenzweig, these examined the contemporary women and tackled the themes of feminism, identity and societal expectations. All these playwrights are very important for the works that they have done for American theatre. If you want to have more discussion, a detailed eye into, then you can begin with Eugene O'Neill's Long Day's Journey into Night, which was first published posthumously in 1956, and the play takes place in a single day in August 1912. The setting is Monte Cristo Cottage, and the play delves into the complexities of family dynamics, because there are four main characters: James Tyrone, Mary Tyrone, Jamie Tyrone, and Edmund Tyrone. And this play is almost semi-autobiographical, because there is a depiction of O'Neill, his older brother, and their parents. The play is known for its raw emotional intensity, introspective exploration, and emotional intensity to address the issues of people, human psyche, and in addition to this, a very powerful language. It is one of the most important and celebrated works of Eugene O'Neill, and it's revered for its very particular projection of the family. Then this is further about that play, and you can see that I have tried to give you some visual feel of this play as well, so that you can understand that the play explores themes of addiction, unfulfilled dreams, moral weaknesses, the intricacies of the relationships within the family, and the depth and insights. Then Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman is a phenomenal play which is set in 1940s in Brooklyn, and it is a very important two-act tragedy. It revolves around the protagonist, whose name is Willie Loman, and who's a salesman and is dissatisfied with his life and appears to be aging. The narrative unfolds through a montage of Willie's memories, dreams, and arguments, providing insights in his inner turmoil and disillusionment. The setting of the play is the Loman house in Brooklyn, which is situated among a row of urban apartment buildings. Against this backdrop, Willie grapples with his perception of the American dream. Now, what is American dream, Because America is one such land which has been constructed as a country, as a modern nation, with the collaboration of European countries, number one, and then rest of the people who have followed there, who have been taken there, like the Africans and the Asians. So America at one point became one of the terms that represented the idea of fulfilling one's dreams, because in this land everything was beginning from scratch, and there were a lot of possibilities for people to grow, people to develop and fulfill their dreams, and therefore this whole idea to become an American becomes an American dream. So this play explores a number of themes like the American dream and its disillusionment when this dream breaks and people are disillusioned, the nature of truth and illusion, and the consequences of infidelity. So through this character's tragic journey, Miller delves into the complexities of human existence and the pressures of societal experiences. This was chosen as the best play in this year, and it had a version of different kind. You can see some pictures are here for your reference. It received a lot of critical acclaim, and it was also included in the Burns Mantle Best Plays of this year. And this therefore solidified the work of Arthur Miller in the entire world mapping of theatre culture. And then came the Great Depression in America from 1929 to 1939. This stands one of the most devastating economic downturns in modern history, and it was triggered by the infamous stock market crash of 1929. This created a collapse of banking system. It also coupled with widespread business failures and sharp decline in the international trade. It was very severe crisis, and in the entire country of America was struggling with it, and there were repercussions beyond America as well. So when we move beyond America, what we see are there are so many things new deals were signed. President Roosevelt was launching New Deal, sweeping economic changes and reforms were made in order to create some kind of positive atmosphere and to bail out the country from this. And what was the influence on American theatre of this was that it marked a pivotal period. It changed the direction for writers and playwrights and all creative people. It became a platform for the playwrights to engage with the pressing social, economic and political issues of the time. So Federal Theatre Project was established, and it was as part of President Franklin Roosevelt's New Deal initiatives. FTP aimed to provide employment for theatre people who were struggling, because cultural productions like theatre are never priority when there is things like Great Depression. So it was sought to create cultural enrichment of communities across the country and it was funded by government. Wide range of productions were promoted with this, and lot of experimentation and innovation was supported by FTB and its organizational connections, because playwrights had very fresh opportunities for writing plays with government funding for theatre companies and explore new kind of art without bothering about the success or the financial or commercial success. So that led to a lot of diversity in American drama and theatre world. So some of the playwrights of the Great Depression in this era, they used theatre as a medium for social commentary. Of course, when world is going through, or the time period of a country is such that people are facing a difficult time for survival, then it is important to document that in the plays. So they wrote about poverty, unemployment, labor unrest and social inequity, and also plays this is embodied in some of the plays like Waiting for Lefty or The Children's Hour. These confronted the audience with the harsh realities of time and urged for very heavy social reforms. Some other works, Waiting for Lefty, if you want to know more about it. So this is one act play and it explores the themes of worker solidarity, social justice and the struggle against economic exploitation during the Great Depression. Then the play The Cradle Will Rock is a musical which is set in Steel Town, USA. It portrays the struggles of workers to unionize the fight against corrupt and corporate people during the Great Depression. So this play was originally for the Federal Theatre Project, but it became infamous when government attempted to shut it because of its political and propaganda content. Then this play Pins and Needles, another musical by FTP. This was a production in which the International Ladies Garments Workers Union participated and performed. The ruse style humorously, it explored the journey of life of working class people, their struggles and how they survived in the Great Depression. The Living Newspaper series by FTP is a very interesting production series of plays, because this led to a number of plays that were directly addressing social and political issues of the time, including the Great Britain, Great Depression and the New Deal. These plays were presented in a documentary style, incorporating current events, statistics, also adding testimonies to educate people, to engage with the audience on the issues of their concern. So these are the references that I have used, a long list of pictures that are used in this discussion. I have tried to cover various aspects of American theatre in this discussion. There is another lecture to follow on American theatre, and I am sure that you must have now got a fairly good idea of what is American theatre. We never intend to create any such discourse where we are looking to drop it. Please drop it. So this is the reason that I have chosen for you some time for the lectures to, please cut this out. This is the reason that I have provided you discussions on Afro-American theatre, discussion on American theatre in couple of lectures, and this will help you in understanding various theatre cultures of contemporary times which have been impacted by the push and pulls of this present time around us. So I hope you have enjoyed the discussion. Thank you very much. I will meet you in a different lecture. Bye.